What's up, YouTube? This is 82 and 0. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Guy Rodgers. Now, he was born September 1st, 1935. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that's where he'd grow up. And he'd actually attend Northeast High School in Philadelphia. Graduated in 1954. He played college ball at Temple University from 1955 to 1958. For Hall of Fame coach Harry Litwack. Now, I do want to note that it seems like a lot of basketball talent came out of Philadelphia in the early days. Overbrook High School was a famous high school for basketball talent, as we all know who came out of there. Now, Rodgers led Temple to a 74-16 record and third place finishes in the 1956 NCAA basketball tournament, 1957 National Invitational Tournament, and the 1958 NCAA basketball tournament. He became the school's leading scorer with 1,767 points at 19.6 points per game. Rodgers remains the third leading scorer in Temple history. The 1958 AP First Team All-American team consisted of four Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame inductees: Guy Rodgers from Temple, Elgin Baylor from Seattle, Wilt Chamberlain from Kansas, and Oscar Robertson from Cincinnati. Now, shove that up the ass of people who say that era wasn't competitive. Now, Rodgers was a territorial pick in the 1958 NBA draft by the Philadelphia Warriors. Now, I've explained this before with my Wilt Chamberlain videos, but for anyone who doesn't know, so early on in the NBA's days, they had what were called territorial picks because they were trying to increase fandom, and one way they thought they could do this was if they were able to have hometown players play for their team, maybe it would draw fans in because they'd say, oh, well, he came from our town. Let's go see him play. Now, Rodgers was alongside the great Wilt Chamberlain with the Warriors from 1959 to 1964. During Chamberlain's famous 100-point game, Rodgers had 20 assists, which this is what I want to get into. He's probably the best playmaker of that generation. Okay. I'd say probably Oscar Robertson's number one, then Guy Rodgers. I don't think people realize how good of a playmaker Guy Rodgers is. In the 1962-63 season, Rodgers led the NBA in assists per game with 10.4 per game, playing in his first NBA All-Star game. On March 14, 1963, Rodgers tied Bob Cousy's record for 28 assists in a single game. Rodgers excelled at the following season as well and was named to his second consecutive All-Star game alongside Chamberlain. The 1964 Warriors team was as dominant in the regular season and defeated the St. Louis Hawks to advance to the NBA Finals before losing to the Boston Celtics 4-1. After averaging 18.6 points per game and 10.7 assists per game in the 1965-66 season, Rodgers was traded on September 7, 1966 to the expansion Chicago Bulls for Jim King and Jeff Mullis in cash compensations. And one thing I want to know about Rodgers, when you look at his early career with Philly from 58 all the way up to 66. He averaged 12.8 points per game and 8.3 assists per game. And he made 3 All-Star appearances with the Warriors. I do want to note the team itself moved from Philadelphia in the 61-62 season from Philly to San Francisco in the 62-63 season. And, a lot of people I don't think even realize that the Golden State Warriors of today started in Philadelphia. And the Philadelphia 76ers today were originally the Syracuse Nationals. I know it's kind of confusing, but his numbers don't stop there. So his first season in Chicago, he puts up 18 points per game and 11.2 assists per game. And the Chicago Bulls were pretty abysmal that his first year there. And I wish I could say that he got a championship, but he didn't. And I think that's why he's kind of forgotten. After the Chicago Bulls, he was traded to the Cincinnati Royals for Flynn Robinson and a 1968 second-round draft pick. But then he was traded to from the Cincinnati Royals to the Milwaukee Bucks for cash compensation. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks were an expansion team, and in 68-69, that was his first year there. You know, he was selected as the expansion draft. I know I just said a trade. I'm sorry, I misspoke. He was picked as an expansion draft pick. And, you know, I really wish he would have stayed with the Bucks one more year, because he played the inaugural year of the Bucks, and he still put up 10 and 7 assists per game. But the following season is when they would have Kareem, and that would be his final season. If he would have held on to one more season, he would have won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. His final season was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's rookie season. You know, it was a good team. They went 56-26, but they lost in the Eastern Divisional Finals in 5 games. You know, I wish he would have stayed around for a ring. But here's one point I want to make. A lot of times you hear people say Wilt Chamberlain didn't have any help against the Celtics. No, this isn't always the case. The Celtics obviously were the better team, no doubt. But is it really true to say that Wilt had no help? I mean, Guy Rodgers was a great player. Paul Arizin, yeah, he was a little older, but he was still a great player. He had some good supporting cast. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, it's not as good as Celtics. But let's talk about his accolades. He's a 4-time All-Star. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2014. He's a 2-time assist champion. And unfortunately, he died pretty young. He died of a heart attack on February 19, 2001, at the age of 65. And he is survived by his sons Tony, Mark, and a daughter Nicole. And I want to quote one NBA player who spoke on him. And I say, quote, "Without question, Guy Rodgers was the best passer I ever played with or against," said Pete Maravich. And they were pretty close. He was he made every play exciting, said basketball TV analyst John McLaughlin, who was a teammate of Rodgers. And I don't think people really understand how great of a passer he was. The behind-the-back passes, the no-look passes, the under-the-leg passes. You know, people think fundamentals just started recently. That's not true. So, rest in peace, Guy Rodgers. I do want to mention one other thing. His number 5 is retired by Temple University. And I want to make a case here. I think he should be inducted into the Collegiate Hall of Fame. You know, I think he had a great collegiate career. So that's Guy Rodgers' story. One of the most forgotten point guards in NBA history. And he was pretty small. He only stood at 6 foot. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Thanks for watching.